motions. Time is up. Let us have the first speaker give us that. And I'll also raise my hand. All right.
Good afternoon. My name is Letati Reset, and my fellows, accompanied by my fellows, Honorable Maurice and Honorable Shakira. I'm not shared and global in my other partners. Declare is to say something publicly or officially. Global is South Sudan today is reporting back to school. They were like the government put them under lockdown because of the global warming change. We have bush burning, among others. Our standpoint is 1, 2, climate change is our global effect. And we are saying that climate change, more than that, arguments are the rivers, the wetlands, oceans, forests, mangroves, of which the mangroves absorb large quantities of carbon. Warming, mangroves also serve as a barrier against tropical storms, and wetlands absorb excess water from flood. 80% of all agricultural production goes towards feeding animals and people. The expansion of land for livestock and the crop to feed them with energy. 35% they contain it's the one that causes the biggest percentage of global warming, of which global, like when the carbon dioxide is in the air, it takes centuries for it to disappear from there, which causes global.
Thank you very much for that presentation.
Now, as the first speaker, I define the motion and explain what is required for both things, and then go back and talk about this.
That's what the resolution is.
This house believes that climate change.
That's what the resolution is.
It states that.
So you will do that? Okay, say that again.
This house believes that climate change should be declared a global emergency. What happened during the COVID-19 period and this situation? A state of emergency, let's take that definition. So for something to be considered an emergency, that means it has to be. Now, as a team negative, we shall realize that that's why we see that it's the UN that can fight this problem. And then we see that at the moment there are certain measures that are being put in place that are fighting the effects of climate change in the community. We find that there's a Paris Agreement that was said in 2015, and then there are certain measures that have been improper disposal of polythene bags and then plastic. And then we see that these resolutions are working now on our economy, and then we shall look at the implications on the society. Now, the major thing that a global emergency will bring is the economic crisis. Because once we are starting a global emergency, that means we can even put the lockdown, for example, the COVID-19 situation. We put the lockdown, so we say no going to school, everyone has to be at home. The only thing we shall do is to handle the problem of climate change. Now, let's take a situation of certain countries, for example, South Sudan, for example, small countries like China. These are countries that are not having the capacity of managing the economy in the right way. These are countries running a deficit budget. So declaring a global pandemic, we shall be killing these countries to the grassroots level as well. Let's take all resources were drawn towards that problem and that situation. So we see that by us putting a lockdown and then concentrating all resources on climate change will be disastrous to us. And yet we are already having certain measures that are being worked out in the society as well. So we see that we do not want to go to this darker side that will lead us into more and more problems. As a team negative. So, as a negative, there are meetings that are being held almost about climate change. You find that there is a to fight this pandemic, to fight climate change, and there are more capacities this again. So we see that it's not really a good idea to fight climate change as the whole globe put in a state of emergency due to the implications that will have on the economy and then on the people of the society. Now, let us talk about the effect that will be caused after this economic crisis. Now, if you declare state of emergency, that means people will not be going to work. First of all, people will be concentrated just on the planting of trees and doing these things, which will be having a very long-term effects, a very long-term effect. But then these people will be staying just concentrating their economy and then all these things on just climate change, which is already being put forth. So I feel that this will be so this.
Negative global emergency. So we as teams to make it a global me and you to be declared an emergency is a global effect. And that is a matter of fact we cannot disagree. It is a climate effect that needs to be with the humans. We are protecting and restoring ecosystems. After calling for it being, or after declaring it as a global emergency, we are protecting and restoring ecosystems. Why? This is climate change, or to fight climate change. So our call for, what does this necessitate? Calling for climate change to be declared a global emergency will bring back to mind of each and every individual in the world, one, to change your mindset towards climate change, whereby after calling for it as a global emergency, we shall require each and every individual economy as some of their major arguments, whereby we have also other modern ways of climate change. Right.
Speaker, don't you think this sensitization of greater awareness is really taking place?
It is taking place, operating as pandemic. We are also talking of, we are talking of setting strict this climate change. They declaring it the climate change the global emergency will bring lots of humans. The danger is one of using the vehicles under MC, the use of the emission of dangerous gases from industries without treating them. For example, an industry may deal with plastic, and in the process we deal with burning of fuels and other stuff. So before releasing the gases into the atmosphere, the waste, we need to treat them. This is one of the call or to the declaring of climate change as a global emergency. Global, why are we declare my acting problems? We realize that the South students have just reported back to school in 2 weeks. They reported on 2nd of April because of climate change. With that, I address my case.
Thank you very much. I asked you to lower down the speech mic.
A global emergency. Ladies and gentlemen, failing to define global emergency, yet it is what has brought us here today. Okay, that will need to be clear if emergency, ladies and gentlemen. Then don't tell us the reason as well. You think they are going to be clear to emergency, ladies and gentlemen. The reason they give us here is creating awareness. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not true. You realize that when something is to be declared global emergency, COVID-19, ladies and gentlemen, every focus has to be on what has been declared as an emergency, because it will be having an urgent effect or implication on the people, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we think that Team Affirmative has failed here, because Team Negative Affirmative has failed here, because they do not tell us the urgency that we need to fight right now, ladies and gentlemen. We think that climate is defined as something that is recorded for about 5 years or even 50 years. Now, how urgent is it that we're going to fight it right now? Ladies and gentlemen, we think that if this is to be declared a global emergency, first of all, we are going to realize that economic crisis is going to be in our country, ladies and gentlemen. And let us try to weigh the effect or the implication that will be caused by this economic crisis to the effect of the 5 years to come, ladies and gentlemen. We realize that when we are focused on, because global emergency means that we need to focus with all the resources that we have, and let us take developing countries like Uganda, and others are not going to school.
So you're talking about
another negative impact on the life of people who are already existing, ladies and gentlemen. When we have defined this climate change in the way because only resources will be focused on curbing these organic increase or trying to adopt to new mechanisms like New Sudan to come and fight the negative implications now, ladies and gentlemen. We think that even economic crisis that you guys try to deny is going to be more urgent than the climatic change you're trying to talk about. If all people die now because of poverty, because of famine, who are you going to preserve the future for that you're preserving in the next 25 years or the 10 years and so on? We think that that is not going to work. Now, we come here and say that, yes, I'm thinking.
Honorable Speaker, have you heard of the Green Schools program?
Yes, I've heard of the Green School program.
Now, why is this?
I have heard of the Greenhouse program, and this is what is already happening, ladies and gentlemen. An indication that we are already fighting climatic change, ladies and gentlemen. Even if you don't declare it as a global emergency, that is going to focus all our attention to fighting what we are already fighting diplomatically, and in a way that is not going to cause negative impact, ladies and gentlemen. Now, they also come here and tell us that they are going to they are going to protect ecosystem. All our focus is to protect ecosystem. But the mechanism we are going to use to fight all these ecosystem matters enough, ladies and gentlemen. We should not use mechanisms that is going to bring us problems, ladies and gentlemen. And these problems are going to be as more urgent than even the climatic effect they talk about. Then we try to look at this. We are looking always like right now, the government of Uganda has stopped drainage of that people do not know is that emergency, global emergency is awareness. No, everyone is already aware. And if you're saying that then it has already been declared global emergency, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about awareness as being global emergency. But what we're talking as global emergency is the focus that we need to put in place.
Dear farmers and producers, the following very good afternoon. I'm going to start my debate in 1, 2, 3. The weather experts have all realized that extreme high temperatures are only declared after a heat wave, and which we have all noticed that it's on 35 and 45 degrees Celsius, which is highly affecting us. That's why we are declaring it as a global emergency, because we have never had these temperatures, and this is the very first economic crisis. We are talking about lives here. We are trying to save lives, and you're talking about poverty. We are saving lives in the way that this global change enters. So as declaring it a global emergency, we are saving lives. We shall talk about the poverty and the economic crisis later. So, and we are situation, and that's why we are saying, you talked about we are all fighting climate change. We are all fighting it actually in a better way. Why? Because as declaring it a global emergency, it's actually helping us, because we have tried to fight global emergency. So, ecosystems in this case, we are talking about us protecting the ecosystems, but we have all noticed that nothing of that, because it is not yet a strict global issue. And granted,
Africa, may you kindly define what global emergency?
Global emergency is a type of awareness that say that our fighting with the climate change, it has to be global. That's why we have, like I was talking before you interrupted, like you talked about us all fighting the climate change. But we have tried planting trees. But trust me, if we plant trees here and people are cutting trees in South Sudan, people are cutting trees in Tanzania, in the country right now. Let's first look at our nose, just beneath our nose, in our country. We are having famine. We all know that March is the month that most people start the planting season. But for how long have people been waiting? That you have a real hope of getting higher temperatures than we have currently in June. We always receive rainfall in March, but we are all witnesses that you have gotten rainfall in April, of which it has been a rare case. That's why we are deciding to make this non-granted. That's why we are deciding to make this action, and if we make it a global thing, we are going to terminate this DMC cast, like Michael talked. We are going to terminate the afforestation. That's why we are going to collaborate with the bodies like NEMA, MFA, to help us in making this a general thing. That's why you talked about the UN, granted.
Speaker, what is the aim of global emergency?
The aim of global emergency is to help people all over the globe to fit in the society conducively, of which in our current situation, our current situation in the globe is not favorable because of the current global changes, and that is affecting us. This global is affecting us, our bodies, it's affecting our health, it's affecting us in a way that we are getting heat strokes. Currently, we had a case in Mulago, and we were talking about the impact that the climate has caused. People are having heat strokes, not because they're sick, but because of the differing temperatures. Not because they're having different complications, but because of the differing temperatures. And this is affecting our country. Don't we need to serve our people? That's why we are deciding as team farmers that we should please make this a global emergency. Because this is good. So we talked about our second speaker from that side talked about if we make this a global emergency, issues economically. Trust me, people are not working out there. Some of the people are not working out there because of the increasing temperatures. That's why we are deciding to sort this thing out globally. So that we sort it out once and for all, and then we can also start moving on with our lives. Because people are not working, schools are getting closed, and trust me, if people like the team negators are not siding with us, we are not going.
So, this House believes that climate change should be declared a global emergency, whereby we the team negators do not believe that it should be declared as a global emergency, because even the team affirmative, they have failed to tell us what global emergency is. First of all, something to happen globally, it means every nation in the world is facing this problem. Second, for it to be an emergency, it means it's happening and no one is aware that this thing is going to happen at this given period of time. So if it's a global emergency, it means what's coming in their life. But right now, I want to assure that everyone is aware of the change of climate where they are. Because you will tell me, people are saying that nowadays it's too hot, and they know this is because climate is changing. You will not tell me that when you declare it and in everything they are doing that they can solve this problem that is the emergency at that given period of time. Whereby, not granted, whereby already the measures that they are going to use to solve this emergency that you declare, they are already in place. People are doing agroforestry, people are planting trees every now and then, people are cleaning their environment. Whereby even right now, there are some countries whereby they don't use vehicles because of carbon, so that they don't have climate change. Not declared a global change. Schools will keep being in a lockdown, like Sudan has their students have been home, they have just gone back to school. I want to assure that even when it's alarmed that it's a global emergency, some of the countries, because they are not having a very good budget, they will be like, let some of the businesses stop so that we can fund the ways of changing our climate so that we fit with it. Not granted. I want to tell you, my dear farmers, that you are here telling us that you're going to announce the change in temperature and seasons is now in Ghana and few other countries of Africa, but not that the entire Africa and all other nations are suffering it. For example, US, they are not in high temperatures or receiving other problems of the global climate. They are there to solve them, not granted. And to tell you that people will still cut down the trees, even if you sell out their jobs, because they will need the money to operate their industries, whereby even when you put there the global emergency, some of the companies work under agricultural resources, whereby you give some companies.
Reply speeches.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that same resolution, we failed to hear a clear definition from Team Affirmative, ladies and gentlemen. They came here and told us about global emergency as creating awareness, ladies and gentlemen. And let us ask ourselves, what is the problem with the current status quo? Are people not aware? We understand that people are already aware. What is the use of declaring a global emergency if people are already aware, ladies and gentlemen, as they claim it is only creating awareness? Now, we look at their creating awareness. How does it solve the problem that they claim is already in the status quo, ladies and gentlemen? We think that creating awareness only is not enough for these people to come and solve the problem that is already there, ladies and gentlemen. We think that we have come and presented to them a case that is not going to be okay. We define for them global emergency as a state of emergency that is declared, and everyone has to focus all the resources, all our attention has to be, because it's something that is having urgent effect, ladies and gentlemen. This is what they do not realize. So they start to fail the definition of global emergency, declaring global emergency, ladies and gentlemen. So it is a failure.
Thank you very much for that kind speech. Let us have
Our dear judge, these our negators have failed to understand the meaning of the term global emergency. They have also failed to understand the meaning of the term change. These same negators are claiming of the economic crisis. Is it really important to have money but living in a poor state because of the negative impacts of climate change? Our dear judge, this I would like to bring to your notice. Once upon a time, Uganda was declared the part of Africa. But imagine if that person who declared Uganda the part of Africa comes back to Uganda, will he be really in position to tell of this, or will he be able to redeclare it the part of Africa because of this climate change we are having? One of the speakers came and talked about that climate change is not being experienced in the whole world. Dear judge, as I conclude, I wonder whether they are aware climate change is a global effect. That's why we are calling or declaring it as a global emergency. And they trace my case.
It has been a very enjoyable round. Both sides have put up a very good fight. I thought it was a semi-final or something. Thank you very much. I highly commend your analysis, both sides. You're very good at analyzing your issues. I highly commend your research. Your research is very good. I highly commend your understanding of voting burdens. You're also very good. Now, the resolution of today was that this House believes that climate change should be declared a global emergency. So what does this debate require? This debate is not a policy debate. This debate is not an action debate. This debate is a debate of major ideas. Why should we exist in your world? And why should we not exist in the other people's world? Why should we choose your world? So these individuals, in their first speech, they first show what we have in the status quo. They show that in this world we are having right now, we have deforestation, we have bush burning, we are having an environment where we cannot protect the status, where we cannot protect ecosystems. Then they provide for that. They show that schools are being shut down. They try to create this extreme world, this undesired world. They talk about the small agricultural produce in their first speech. They talk about a lot of things. Then what we get from the first speaker of the negating side, first of all, a state of emergency, like when you see the COVID-19 pandemic. So then they explain what happens in such a world. They talk about the fact that there will be larger effects that the current climate change that we have. They talk about the measures in place, the fact that the measures in place are indeed trying one is, Now, in the second speech, what do we get? This is the second speech. They talk about the fact that they bring us the fact that people are not even able to go to school. they bring us the fact that indeed we have to reduce these effects, and they can only be reduced through declaring climate change and global emergency. Then what else do we get in their issue? Yes, you argue that there are mechanisms that are already in place to solve the issues of climate change. But it shows that these mechanisms have been working at a slow state or a slow pace. So they are now disoriented with this. They have shown that whatever we're trying to propose is not working because they say the trees are there, but they are moving. Then they talk about that people currently are not aware of the extreme effects that can happen if very beautiful speech from this side of the house. They tell us the fact that awareness is already, but they don't give it flesh to show that awareness is there. Then they tell us that if we are to declare a global emergency percentage of course, it will lead economic crisis. Then we also talk about the fact that all the resources that people will have, they will all be channeled to climate change, which is a very good challenge and brings people back so that the resources will not be emergency. So that then becomes a very beautiful point. We also talk about the fact that climate change does not affect every individual. Then we also talk about the fact that the economic stance is more dangerous than the current effects of climate change that we have. Now we see that what we have today, but we started the economic challenges, a very difficult situation. We could not determine a winner. We have to follow through that. Now, what we get from the third speeches that distinguish the winners. First of all, this is what we talk about that yes, we talk about the fact that these total climate change challenges shall cause big economic problems. However, this people say that the current effects we have, they are causing kidney problems, they are causing liver problems. So they try to bring in that argument that even now things are bad. Then they talk about the fact that poverty, that the poverty we talk about that will happen if at all this climate change is not talked about. They talk about the fact that poverty is even going to happen. Why? Most of these economies are reliant on agriculture. They won't be able to plant their food, which means that they won't be able to get money. So they will have poverty, we will have hunger. So they show that the problems of your world are also prevalent in their world. And actually, the climate change is that is leading to all the universal problems. Furthermore, they talk about the fact that all these measures we're talking about being practiced have not entirely worked. That's why schools in South Sudan are closing. So they bring in that aspect of yes, if at all these schools have been closed, it means that things are not working. So we have to employ extreme measures. That is their argument. They also talk about the fact that these measures have to be for the whole world. So declaring a global emergency makes the whole world put in their effort. It will make the countries like USA also contribute what has done. However, in the world, it will only make the countries affected putting that effort. You understand what I mean? So that is where the distinction in the debate is important. Then they also say even the famine we get in the world can entirely be solved by solving climate change. They say if at all we don't have the heat wave, we shall be able to plant the food. So people won't have that famine. So what we get from that speech, the third speeches are where the distinction is from. We go back to this third speech doesn't do a lot about the major goes to re-emphasize the point. We say yes, go back to the basics of the global. But then in this debate, it becomes now at this point of your debate, because you are now taken the debate philosophical, it becomes irrelevant as had been brought in your second speech. So bringing it back in the third speech will be re-emphasizing what the debate is about, among other things. Then in the reply speeches, your reply speech was very good. I highly commend that. And your reply speech was a bit average. So, based on that analysis, I think it's, let me first calculate that difference in points. Right.
Sound is off.
Thank you.